Hello, the internet.
Hello.
My name is Fran, this is my husband Michael.
That's me.
This is not a normal format video, but it is not a normal format week.
Woo.
So, I've made a breakthrough in the planning.
Dun, dun, dun.
And I need to talk it out with someone. So I have enlisted Michael to come and listen to me and make noises of general interest.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good one. So, if we just start,
It's got golden pages.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is a common planner. This is a B5 common planner, in a B5 size. That's the size.
Oh,
good
what's
night.
that?
So the common planner is set up. It's quite a nice setup actually. You've got your monthly spreads at the beginning, then you've got weekly spreads in the middle, and then at the end you don't have daily pages, but you have enough pages for 1 page a day.
And then it's like, is it graph paper?
It is graph paper.
Oh, excellent. Can we do a graph?
We could do a graph. We won't, but we could. So, basically, at the beginning of the year, I started trying to organise myself better with this, trying to have like a weekly dashboard and a weekly plan. And I started at the beginning of the year with like a Monday brain dump, and then trying to organise it into like a matrix to make it sort of work. And then I spent a couple of weeks sort of dilly-dallying around, not really getting stuff done. And then from the 27th, the week of starting with the 27th, I pretty much consistently started trying to do an actual brain dump and an actual kind of structure.
This is fun.
I started doing timetables. I put my morning at the bottom because the day rises like the sun.
Oh, I thought it was a bar chart. I mean,
no.
Oh.
So I tried different things. I tried being more structured. I tried imposing some stuff on myself. That didn't work. Like I was meant to fill all of this stuff in. I didn't do anything. And it just felt really scrappy. I tried doing it sideways, so I was using this as a timeline. That didn't work. That was awful. And then I tried having the page vertical, but then the timeline sideways, and that was awful, and I hated it.
I tried tearing off the page out and eating it.
I did.
Shooting the book.
I tried nothing this week, apparently. And then I sort of settled on this thing with like a week layout and the sort of the space for the brain dump. Then I started doing it as like a brainstorm, as a mind map. That migrated to the top of the page, and then that is what stuck for. So the first time I did it as a mind map was the 7th of April. He's yawning. I've bored him already.
Leave me alone.
And then, so this week, I actually got all my days in the wrong order. For some reason, I skipped Thursday.
Oh, this is amazing. This is the best.
So I just...
This week I invented Thursday.
So I made my days Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, nothing, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Sunday, Tuesday, happy days. That's amazing. This week I forgot how time works.
I just wanted it. I was just trying to make it work because I was a Tuesday brain dump, so I started on Tuesday.
But was it a Tuesday brain dump?
Yeah, because I didn't plan on the Monday. So I was like, I forgot the Monday. Anyway.
Everybody knows Sunday comes after Monday.
And then I went back, I did a Monday brain dump. I kept going, I kept trying, and I kept failing. And then this week, which was the week a couple of weeks ago now, the week of the 19th of May, I filmed this one, and it was like it was a sad girl planner session. And I just felt really like hopeless about the whole thing because I was like making all of these lists, and I was like, but I'm not doing anything with the list. I don't really understand what I'm doing this for. I'm just spending all of this energy making this list, filling in a timetable that I then don't come back and look at, and I just didn't really understand why I was doing it. Then I had the breakthrough. So what I did on the following week is I made the list, and then I put the list in order. I put the list in an arbitrary order, and I went, I'm going to do things in this order, so that when I sit down at the desk, doesn't matter when I sit down at the desk, when I do it, this is what I'm going to do in this order. So I took away the decision making from that level. So this is the week that's just gone. This is the Friday, and I've done it this week a little bit more structured. And Michael, make the noise.
Bing.
that will link to the video of the Plan With Me session that will show more of sort of what happened. But what I realised, I've been using, this isn't the trigger list, I've updated it since, but I've been using a list of
A cue card.
a cue card,
A little revision card.
a little revision card to basically to like go through this list and make all of this list of stuff that needs to be done. But what I realised that I was getting wrong, and this is what I've been getting wrong, is that I was trying to plan on a weekly scale and then process on a daily scale. So my theory of planning is that planning has three distinct parts, right? You've got your plan, you've got your track, and you've got your process. Right?
Okay, so what are those?
My friend. So tracking is the easiest one because tracking is literally just keeping track of what you've done. And that could be like habit trackers, that could be like literally like just keeping your to-do lists that you've crossed off written down somewhere. It might be collating the data in a way that's like relevant to you. It might be just having the data that you can flip back through your book and go, yes, this happened on those days.
Okay.
Planning, I thought planning was what you're going to do. That is not planning. Planning is when you're going to do it.
Okay.
So you don't plan what you're going to do, you plan when you're going to do it. Processing is what you're going to do. Processing is making a list of everything that needs to be done and the decision-making process of what is the next thing you're doing, what order you're going to do it in, how are you going to approach it, how are you going to break those tasks down. I was trying to plan on a weekly level. So I was trying to look at my diary and go, I'm going to do this task on Wednesday, and I'm going to do this task on Wednesday, and I'm going to do this task on Wednesday. But those tasks were always big volume, like big bracket tasks. They were always like what I'm now going to be calling folder tasks. So tasks where you've got a whole folder's worth of information and content and stuff that needs to go into them, but you still need to make the decisions about how to approach them next. So I was trying to plan on a weekly scale, and then I was trying to process on a daily scale. So then I was opening the folders on a daily level and going, what do I need to do now? What's the next thing? And that was overwhelming and that wasn't working. Okay. What I'm doing now is I've switched it. So now I'm going to be processing on a weekly scale, which is going to be this, which is going through all of the things on my to-do list, all the things that are taking up space in my brain. And I think that this is going to be a full page of brain dump every single week. And I think it's going to be important that I dump everything out every single week. There are going to be some things, like the FPT stuff and the Pippin stuff, those are going to remain as folder projects because they have their own planning at the back of the book.
Oh, okay, fine.
Because they're things that are not inherently tied to a week, they're like long-term projects. So when I planned this week, I scheduled and I went, I'm going to work on FPT, I'm going to work on Pippin, I'm going to work on FPT, and then I've got the day off today. On that Monday, I did admin and Wedmin. I made the list. I made a chronological list.
Do the people on the YouTube channel know what Wedmin is?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I made a chronological list of what I was going to do in order, and in a 2-hour session, I got everything apart from one done from that list. Because I sat down and I just worked my way through it. So, what I have realised of myself and my planning system is that I am not a weekly level planner. I am a daily level planner. And what I've been doing with my daily level at this point, is I sit down at my desk at 9:30, 10:30, 11:30, whatever time I manage to get to the desk, and I go, how much time do I have between now and my next break? So I'm like, okay, I've got 2 hours, and then I go to the top item of the task of the chronological list, and I go, what is this? Can I do it in the 2 hours? Yes or no? And if I can't, then I go, what is the next step towards getting to this done? Getting this thing done.
Okay.
And so I break it down. So I am still processing a little bit on a daily scale, but the level of processing is like, instead of looking at an entire project folder worth of stuff, I'm looking at one task from the entire project folder. I'm looking at one page or one like step. And in theory, as I go further and further, and as I get better at the processing level, I should be better at breaking those down and all of the tasks down into 45-minute increments. Because I know that I can work for 45 minutes comfortably. In theory, I should be using a Pomodoro timer. I tend to put the Pomodoro timer on, and then as soon as it's on, I forget to stop.
Oh, it's Italian for tomato.
That is Italian for tomato. So I like the 45-minute, 15-minute timers, so that it's like an hour block, rather than 25-minute, 5-minute.
As in 45 minutes on, 15 minutes off?
Yes.
Okay.
What ends up happening is I end up, once I get into the flow state of working, I just work all the way through until the end of the break. I'm trying to keep track of, in my daily planner, which I don't have at the table here, I'm trying to keep track of what work I'm actually able to do. And if I don't manage to finish something, I write down why. Like, is it because I got distracted? Is it because the work was just too much? And then I need to readjust what a 45-minute work block looks like. So for the moment, I'm not breaking all of these things down to that level.
Okay.
Because that would be, at this point, where I still don't know exactly how much I can do, that would be a waste of time. That would be like unnecessary processing and not helpful.
Okay, so for those people who have a very short attention span, such as him, and he shall remain nameless, your husband.
Cool.
Break down what you've just said into a short. So can you say it in 100 words or less? Can you summarise your breakthrough? And don't count it on your fingers. I'm not going to count it. The point is just try and say it nice and succinctly.
I was trying to be too strict with tasks and assigning them to particular times. And then when I was failing to do those things, all of my plans were being ruined and I wasn't able to recover because the plans were tied to the time. In this way, I process in terms of what are all of my next steps, so that when I do sit down to work, I don't need to make decisions. Because making decisions is what stops me from working, because it all feels overwhelming. So rather than taking an hour a week to plan my time, and then panic on the days when I have to then figure out what I'm doing, actually the nitty gritty of what I'm doing, I spend a slightly more stressful hour a week processing everything that needs to be done to, 10 steps, 20 steps, however many steps it will be. And I will give myself a vague folder topic per day. So it's just, am I working for this client, or for myself?
Sure.
And then I will have 3 to-do lists, one for this client, one for this client, one for myself. And on those days, I will just work from the top of the list down.
Amazing. So it's like, when people go to watch something on Netflix and they don't know what they're going to watch, and then the whole time that they wanted to watch something on Netflix, they just spend it scrolling, and they go, now we don't have time to watch a film.
Yeah. So
you know exactly what you're going to watch.
Yeah.
And then you sit down and you pick your right thing to watch and watch it.
Yeah. So we've got
silly Netflix analogy.
Yeah. So we've got YouTube videos, TV shows, and movies. And
no matter what one you choose to do, you're going to do it.
I've got a watch next list.
You know what? Yeah. Brilliant. Okay.
It feels, when you say it out loud, I feel like it sounds very rudimentary and very obvious. But unironically, this has taken me since the 27th of January to figure out.
No, but also it's always the things that sound the simplest. It's why people are always so impressed when something is like, when they go, oh, it's so effortless.
Yeah.
And everybody goes, yes, it takes a lot of effort to look effortless.
And the thing is, and like, so these, I'm trying to fill in every day what I've done. I'm really bad at filling these in at the end of the day because I work until the last minute of my work day and then I panic and then I have to run away. I normally don't get to close down my desk. For me, scheduling 15 minutes to close everything down for the desk is not a viable option. Instead, I'm going to put that at the beginning of my next work day. And the nice thing about it is because I'm doing it week on week, I'm not redoing it multiple times a week. So I'm not exhausting it. And I'm going, it hasn't been perfect. What hasn't worked? Why hasn't it worked? How can I change it for next week? And I feel like every week I have made very small, incremental improvements week on week. So when we look back from, it's June and I've been doing this, it's a solid like 3 or 4 months that I've been doing this.
But you know what? I feel like this is a universal thing of like, I know you said it sounds obvious, but giving yourself this time to actually sit down and do this, people find this very hard.
Yeah.
Find it in all the jobs I've had as well, because you feel like you're not working when you're planning the work. Yeah. You feel like if you had to turn around to your boss, if you spent an hour doing this and your boss said, what are you doing? And you turned around and said, I'm making a list to figure out what I'm going to do and when I'm going to do it. That they'd get mad at you and be like, what do you mean? That's not, you haven't been working on the report. I don't know what work sounds like, but I do. I'm not allowed to do impressions. But, they go. So this is like, be brave. Plan your week. It will do you better.
Yeah, and I think the nice thing as well is that,
or plan your day, as you say.
Yeah, but I think the nice thing as well is that this, in theory, I will have evidence. I will have tracked what I've done. Like, at the time it wasn't tracking, but this is tracking. So I can look back at this and go, how successful were the weeks? And like all of the weekly planners, all of the things that you see, all the advice you see is like, write down your 3 biggest wins, write down the 3 things you struggled with, write down things that you can learn from this. And I'm like, how does anybody actually know any of that? It's all made up, it's not real. But with this, I feel like I actually have something that on Sunday or on Monday morning, when I come to do my next round of this, I will have something to review. Because I will have something to review and look at my daily logs, because I've been writing out the to-do lists in the daily log and ticking them off. And I will be able to look at them and go, like, what actually did I do? What didn't I manage to do? And actually, why not? So I will have something to review, and I will have collected that data as part of, and some of it is deliberate, like these recaps, these daily recaps, they are deliberate data tracking. Like, that is specifically for tracking. And the other stuff in the daily pages is stuff that is like more for planning on the day. But basically what I've done is I've separated out all of the functions. So this is processing, the daily book is planning, and this section here is tracking. So I've completely separated out those 3 specific functions.
Nice.
To make the system work. Simples. It only took me 4 months to get there.
And how long to explain?
25 minutes.
Hey!
But in my defence, at least 30 seconds of that needs to be cut. So coming up in the month of June, there are a couple more videos that I want to run, that I want to do, that you might need to be involved in.
Whoa!
I want to revisit my current system and just have like a bit of a debrief of like what is working and what isn't working and why isn't working.
Okay.
I want to have a think about what I'm doing for next year, because I have already started planning for next year, largely because I have quite a few undated planners from last year that I bought already. So I'm going to try and prepare them and pre-decorate them so they're ready for next year. And if I can do that over the summer when I'm a little bit less busy, that would be much better. So those are 2 videos I want to do. I also have an idea for a functional system, like a house management system for us, that I would like to flesh out with you, if possible, recording it so that people can see what it's like to actually have to have the argument with your partner. But yeah, so I've got at least 2 more videos that I want to do, maybe 3, depending on how the month goes.
All right.
So it's quite exciting.
Woo!
Woo! Okay. Bye the internet.